Rigging. All rigging equipment like hoists, cranes, slings, wire rope, etc. must be inspected prior to use. Any defective equipment shall be immediately removed from service. Additional inspections shall be performed as necessary and in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications, usually monthly and annually. Records of all required inspections shall be available for review by the site EHS representatives. Prior to any lifting, a lifting zone shall be established in barricades to prevent other workers from entering the zone. The lifting zone shall be clear of all personnel and equipment prior to initiating the lift. No one shall be permitted to work under a suspended load. Failure to adhere to this policy is grounds for dismissal from the site. Flammable combustible liquids. The amount of flammable and combustible liquids must be kept to a minimum. Do not use more than can be used during one shift. An area of 20 feet in all directions shall be kept clear of ignition sources. Mixing areas shall be separated from work areas by at least 20 feet. Keep all unused containers sealed and closed. Flammable liquids must be stored in the manufacturer's original container or in approved safety cans equipped with a flame arrestor and self-closing valve. During transfer from one container to another, containers of flammable and combustible liquids must be grounded and bonded. This requires that each container be set on the ground and directly contact each other during transfer. Dispensing containers must be equipped with a self-closing valve or other device to minimize potential for spills. Never disperse gasoline in the back of a pickup equipped with a plastic bed liner. The resulting buildup of static electricity may cause a fire explosion. If a spill occurs, please notify your site contact. Do not store flammable liquids near storm drains. Lockout Tagout. Proper lockout tagout is important to assure your safety and the safety of those around you. If lockout tagout is required to safely perform the task, all persons on site are required to verify isolation before placing their lock on the dedicated lockbox or isolation device. All servicing and maintenance work shall be conducted in accordance with the site policy for lockout tagout. The Chemtrade policy is one man, one key, unless group lockout is being implemented. It is important that you add an additional tag identifying your name, company name, and a number we can reach you. We must be able to notify you of important information concerning the job. Before leaving our site, we ask that you please remove all locks from Chemtrade equipment and lock boxes, unless prior authorization to allow the locks to remain overnight is given by your Chemtrade contact. Check with Chemtrade employees or the Chemtrade plant manager to make sure that you understand our lockout tagout process. All valves, breakers, and other lockout points must be locked out whenever possible. Lockout lists for complex equipment shall be used to document which lockout points have been de-energized. Excavation. If the task that you are performing involves excavation or trenching activity within the plant property, you must obtain and complete an excavation permit before beginning the job. No excavation shall begin until the location of underground cables, utilities has been established. If the excavation is greater than 4 feet in depth, proper egress points must be provided every 50 feet. Additionally, for excavations greater than 5 feet in depth, a competent person must assess the excavation to assure that it is safe for personnel entry. Excavations greater than 5 feet in depth may also require a confined space permit to be completed. The assessment shall be documented on the excavation permit. A minimum slope of 2 to 1 is required if sloping is used to make the trench safe for occupancy. If either shoring or shielding is used, a copy of the engineer's certification of the equipment must be attached to the excavation permit. The competent person shall perform daily inspections of the excavation. Inspections shall also be conducted after a significant weather change. These inspections shall be documented on the excavation permit. Elevated work. You should carefully plan the job with your site contact to ensure adequate fall protection is provided. Failure to provide adequate fall protection may result in work stoppage and delays. If any person at the site is required to perform work at an elevation greater than 4 feet U.S. or 1.2 meters Canada, the use of a fall protection system is required. This can include, but is not limited to, guardrails, a full body harness, a lanyard, or a self-retracting lifeline. The use of body belts or safety belts as fall protection equipment is not an acceptable practice. All persons using fall protection equipment are responsible for first inspecting the equipment before using it. All fall arrest anchor points must be able to withstand a minimum weight of 5,000 pounds. Selection of proper anchor points are most crucial to proper use of a fall protection system. Heights less than 18 feet may require the use of self-retracting lifelines, rope grabs, or other fall protection system to ensure adequate fall protection. Please ensure that you take into account the length and expansion of the lanyard when deciding on suitable anchor points. Piping or electrical conduit shall not be used as an anchor point. Lanyards should not be wrapped around guardrails and attached back into themselves unless they are specifically designed to do so. If work is to be performed using a man lift, scissor lift, or similar equipment, the person performing the work must wear a full body harness and lanyard and must be tied off to the basket or lift, not to a fixed structure. Fall protection must be provided when working within 6 feet of the edge of an exposed fall hazard or low-sloped roof. Scaffold safety. Scaffolding is sometimes used to provide a temporary elevated work platform. All scaffolding shall be erected and dismantled under supervision of a competent person. A competent person shall conduct daily inspections of the scaffolding once per shift. If a scaffold possesses bent, broken, or damaged supports, it must be tagged out of service and cannot be used. Any defects shall be corrected before work continues. A scaffold is required to be placed evenly so that it does not tilt. In addition, mud sills should be used to provide a level footing surface. All scaffolds must have proper footers, guardrails, ladders, and toe boards to ensure the safety of persons working on and below them. The area underneath a scaffold should be barricaded to assure that no one is at risk of being harmed from falling tools or equipment. Persons working from scaffold platforms must wear additional fall protection equipment if the scaffold height is greater than 4 feet US or 1.2 meters Canada. Unless sufficient top and mud rails are provided, all workers must use full body harness and lanyard as additional fall protection while working on scaffolding. Do not tie off or use the scaffold as an anchor point. Electrical work. Live electrical work is defined as any time an employee or contractor has the risk of exposure to live electrical power greater than 50 volts. This can include removing the cover of a fuse box, pulling fuses, or changing circuit breakers. Chemtrade's live electrical work permit shall be used for any live electrical work above 50 volts. The live electrical work permit will specify the exact arc flash rated personal protective equipment required for performing your job. Only trained and authorized personnel are allowed to work on energized electrical equipment. Most electrical work at the site must be performed by a trained and certified electrician. All other workers must not enter or tamper with unauthorized electrical areas, including the MCC buildings or breaker panels. If possible, electrical energy sources shall be completely de-energized and verified as being in an electrically safe condition. Workers performing work on electrical systems must be involved in controlling the electrical energy using the facility's Lockout Tagout process and must verify that the system is de-energized before performing any work. GFCI ground fault circuit interrupters are required to be used on all outside electrical extension cords and tools, or if cords or tools are exposed to water or other liquids. Cords shall be protected against damage and shall not present a tripping hazard. A minimum distance of at least 10 feet shall be maintained at all times from overhead power lines. This completes your safety orientation. If you have any questions, please ask a Chemtrade employee who will be happy to help you. Please work safely at our plant and enjoy your visit to this Chemtrade water chemical manufacturing facility.